New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
This is What's Up and Why, bringing you the bright side of life, one fun moment at a time. Brought to you by the New Thought Media Network. Give a set of applause emojis in the chat for your co-hosts, Rev KC and B. Lovely.
Clap for us, clap for us.
Yes.
We are back for another episode. What is up? How you be, Rev KC?
You know, I be real good. I'm on my best day ever energy. I got up early and went to this place called the Bradford House in Oklahoma City. That's so cute. It's got like chandeliers. It's all pink. I have my avocado toast, and I met with this group of people called the Progressive Clergy. And what I love is we had a conversation about the sacred nature of inclusivity, of how important it is to where everyone feels included, where people of all political persuasions, of however one presents. Right now in Oklahoma City, there is a initiative to ban DEI in the government. And I was like, as progressive clergy, isn't it important for us to come together and really address this and speak to the powerful nature of inclusivity for everyone to feel included as part of our government system? So my wheels are turning on a way that we can put an event together and really spread this idea that inclusivity is just something that includes everyone. It isn't that somebody's getting their rights taken away, or that there's less opportunities for us. All we're doing, leading with inclusivity, is recognizing the sacred nature of everyone in all of life. So that's how I be. How you be, Miss B Lovely?
I'm lovely to hear that. I'm feeling I feel like I'm in a state of buoyancy. Like, if you can just picture the waves in the ocean, just, bobbing up and down, like I'm in a really good place. It's been a very long week for me. I've only been getting about like 3 hours of sleep each night because work has been really intense, with the whole conclave situation going on. So we've been covering that. But today I told myself, I'm going to schedule a little pocket of time for me to be able to rest, because I haven't been pouring into my cup. I haven't been taking care of me. And so I wanted to go to the post office to send off some Mother's Day cards to the aunts. But my body was also like, we are really tired. We're past the point where we're on E. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to express mail it. I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to relax. And then later on today, I'm going to go to the post office. And so now I went from feeling like a zombie, pushing myself beyond my limits, to feeling like I'm on a cloud.
Love it. That's beautiful. I love that a nap does that for you. For me, a nap will just mess with the whole vibe of the day. Have me sleepy all day long.
How long do you take your naps? How long are your naps typically?
It really, I'm not a big napper. And I think maybe that's why I haven't unlocked the secret of a nap that works for me. I think I made it clear that earlier this month, I'm on like day 32 of abstaining from weed. And the first couple of weeks, I would say the first 26 days, my sleep schedule was not kicking. And so there was a whole lot of naps, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But in general, my body just really, I hadn't gotten into a groove. But I would say now that I'm at around day 32, I've been able to sleep for a full, like, go to sleep at a regular time and wake up at a regular time. So
that's good. I
figured it out.
Well, I asked that question because I never knew that there's actually an optimum time to take a nap that's supposed to help boost your energy. So when I was in college, there was a sleep study class that they had. And so I took it, of course. And part of the class was taking naps. And the professor told us like the difference between, a nap and then going into deep sleep. A nap should be typically no more than 30 minutes. 15 minutes is the sweet spot for a perfect nap. That'll give you the right boost of energy. You won't feel lethargic. You'll be able to bounce up and, feel real buoyant and everything. But if you go past 30 minutes, That's when you go into rapid eye movement. That's when you go into your deep sleep phase, when your body's starting to recover and repair itself. And if you cut yourself off before like the 7 to 8 hour mark that your body needs for full REM sleep, then your body is basically like let's say if you ever played a video game when you was younger, you're in the middle of the game and then somebody unplugs the system, and then when you go to plug it back in, it's like it takes a long time to reboot. It's real slow, it's lagging, it's messing up. That's what you do with your brain. And that's why some people, if they take a real long nap and they wake up, they feel more tired, they feel angry, irritable. So if you ever want to take a nap to get a boost of energy, 15 minutes max, but 30 minutes. 30 minutes is actually the max, but 15 minutes is the sweet spot.
Well, that makes so much sense. I love that you had a class where naps were your homework. Props to your school, because
that was the classwork, not the homework. The classwork. We had an aromatherapy nap. We had a sound bath nap. Like we learned like the perfect environment is like a dark, cool environment for your body to be able to, relax and get ready for sleep and everything. Shout out to Towson University.
For sure. They deserve your reverence, because I never heard of a nap class. I'm personally, I'm a huge fan of the nap ministry. Trisha Hersey Bishop Trisha Hersey. She wrote a book called Rest is Resistance, a manifesto. And she's really who has inspired me to like recognize the power of napping and really the power of rest. That I was somebody that was burning the candle at both ends. And, I think we talked about this on the show of how black people are raised to work twice as hard as their white counterparts. And her whole vibe is like, nah, like rest is resistance is this demonstration that we no longer have to work twice as hard as our white counterparts, that we are leading by example of demonstrating the power of rest, of not working too hard. And so like y'all know, well, maybe I've mentioned it, that as senior minister at United Life, I have unlimited time off. I've got very kind of like, I really just let my intuition lead how much or how little I work, which has been really helpful in this 30-day adjustment of not smoking weed, taking all the naps during that time period. It was really nice to be like, you know what, I'm gonna cancel this and this and this and move all this around and know that this is the right thing. And my congregation fully supports the fact that I have chosen to abstain from weed and respects the fact that I am honoring my body through this journey.
Props to you for being able to, to stick with it and, adding these practices to your life. I will say, like, with that ministry that she had started that I had saw online, I've learned that I'm more productive when I have a lot of rest. I'm able to put in more quality and thoughtfulness into the work that I'm doing. I'm able to perform better and like show up in a better way as opposed to trying to do everything at once without having rest. So if you're listening, I want you guys to try to challenge yourselves to, lean more into rest. Stop trying to force yourself to do everything at once. It doesn't have to be this or that. There's a third or fourth option. So try to make room for rest in your day if you can.
I completely agree that having the freedom to rest and recognize the value of it has meant that my work is better because I am rested. It's with a rested mind. And also, I'm not stressed out. I recognize that I don't have to worry about whether ABC is going to get done. When I operate from a place of divine timing, I will make a shameless plug to my program, my Making Peace with Your Inner Shit Talker program. There's a section on it about divine timing. And so through my own, was part of the inspiration of abstaining for weed for 90 days was I make this recommendation of abstaining from drugs and alcohol for this 90-day period. And I have to, if I'm going to recommend it, I've got to take my own advice. So as I'm moving through this program, being reminded that divine timing is always taking place. I don't have to stress about my performance. I get to trust and know that the entire experience, my entire life, is unfolding perfectly. I don't need to judge myself. Worry has no value in my life, and it is so much more powerful to live from that understanding than to live in the stressful energy that is so common in our world.
And it's so ironic that you talk about that because that is something that I have been really faced with. You're familiar with my situation. Like I'm trying to find a new place to live. I'm supposed to be moving soon, and I was trying to find a place that like had like all the security stuff I was looking for, and also has like everything that you want in a neighborhood. Like is safe, good distance to everything, and looking for a new place and the whole thought of moving is just jarring. And so there was a point when I was starting to get worried, but I thought to myself, no, what's meant to be will be. Everything is going to work out perfectly. I know that I'm being, protected and guided divinely through God. And I'm not going to worry because all worry does is add on to the plate. It doesn't take anything off. It doesn't solve any problems. It just stresses you out. Stress can not only mess you up mentally, it can show up physically in your body too. And I just said, my piece is too expensive. I'm not going to lose that. What's meant to be will be. And honey, things are looking good. So hopefully I got some good news coming up in a week or two. But yeah, we're not worrying about anything in 2025. We are trusting divine timing.
My piece is too expensive. We are not worrying about anything in 2025. We are trusting in divine timing. I am with it, with it, with it.
So with that, talking about divine timing, let's talk about who Rev KC Taylor is giving reverence to this week.
Yes, I as I've been reflecting on who I wanted to give reverence to, an organization that has come up a few times in my life really came to mind. This organization is called the Innocence Project, and I was originally they really came into my world when I started working at Juvie Productions. We had a project in development that did make it to air. The project or the series is called The Last Offense, that was on ABC, and the show was about two people. One was Darlie Rotier, and the other person was Julius. What is Julius's last name? Which is so Julius Jones. And what is so wild about the Julius Jones case is Juliet. I'll just tell you the story real quick about
Yeah.
Julius Jones. He lives in Oklahoma, which was so wild about it is I had no idea I was going to end up moving to Oklahoma when we worked on this project. But Julius Jones is at the time was a young black man in Oklahoma, and a friend of his slept over at his house, and it is believed that this friend murdered somebody in Edmond, Oklahoma. And Edmond is one of these kind of like white flight cities where if a white man gets murdered, the cops are going all in. And so all evidence really points to this man of the fact that his vehicle was found on site. Julius Jones was at work at the time that this man was murdered. There's video evidence of the fact that this man was at work. And there's also evidence of the fact that this man, that his friend, who does have evidence of having been in Edmond at the time, slept over at his house, and they found like his bloody clothes in an attic at Julius Jones's house. And that friend like called and was like, "Oh, I saw these bloody clothes in the house. You should go over there." So all of the evidence is pointing to the friend, but Julius Jones, I think he's still in prison. So the Innocence Project, wanted to bring visibility to the kind of people that are experiencing that are. He was facing the death penalty. Darlie Rotier was also facing the death penalty, and the show was to highlight the fact that these people were literally on death row, and the last offense was to get public support of getting their sentences commuted. Julius was taken off of death row because of all of the public pressure, but he is still in prison. He's serving a life sentence as opposed to he was set to be I forgot what's the word that they use where you're in the I don't know, facing the death penalty. So they're not going to kill him. What is it?
Wait, not euthanized. That's when the lethal injection, or he's not getting that anymore.
Yeah, that's what it is. I don't know. Euthanize is what they say for animals. I don't know because it's not euthanization. That's only when like someone's sick. I forgot what it's called. Where the state decides execution is the word that I was looking for. So he's not going to be executed, but he is serving a life sentence. And so just having them on my radar when I launched my own spiritual organization,
Yeah.
Spirit Uncensored, the Innocence Project representative came to one of our Sunday services and spoke about the organization. And one of the things that she said was people who were wrongly incarcerated, what this organization does is not only do they do the best they can to provide visibility to their case, but these lawyers work for free. And y'all know how much lawyers cost. So the fact that lawyers make this decision to give of their time, the organization does not really pay very much money at all. Very many lawyers are not paid. The vast majority of these lawyers are giving their time and their expertise to try and get people who've been wrongfully incarcerated freedom. And so one of what Spirit Uncensored did is we collected gift cards for the holidays for people who had been wrongfully incarcerated. They've got like their work records are missing, like for 10 years, they're like, I was in prison, but I was wrongfully incarcerated, and trying to get presents for your children or create a holiday meal wasn't easy for them. And so we came together and did a holiday gift card drive so that their families can have happy holidays. But, the fact that the people in this organization really work tirelessly to rescue people who've been victim to our incarceration system, because our incarceration system doesn't care about the fact that you can't afford a lawyer or you've got receipts that shows that you were at work, so there's no way you could have murdered this person. That all kinds of people are really stuck in the cracks of the system. So I really wanted to give reverence and a shout out to the Innocence Project for the tireless work that they do to rescue people who've been wrongfully incarcerated and help them fight for their freedom.
Yeah, shout out to them. I know like what's her name? Kim Kardashian, she works with them. That's how I found out about them a few years ago through their show, because she was doing work with them to like help bring awareness about a lot of people who were wrongfully incarcerated and everything. And she was able to help get a few people exonerated through that project. But Rev KC Taylor, for people who want to like learn more about the real the Innocent Project, if they want to help out, like where do you know where they can go to get more information and to like help out those wrongfully incarcerated?
Absolutely. Innocenceproject.org. Hopefully we can get that link popped up onto the screen. You can just Google Innocence Project and it'll come up. And the Innocence Project has offices across the country. So you can reach out, you can volunteer, you can give, you can put together a campaign like Spirit Uncensored did. Ask your local organization what they need and what you can do. There will be a representative. It was very easy for us to get a representative to show up and speak about what they do. And they're happy to share information about what their needs are and how to best support them within your own community.
Nice. So when Spirit Uncensored helped collected money for those gift cards to to help those wrongfully incarcerated be able to give Christmas gifts to their families, do you know how many families you were able to help?
Yeah, I believe it was about 5, and they, it was our local organization that identified the people. These are the people that need it most, and we were able to support 5 different families in providing Christmas presents and holiday meals for them. It was like grocery cards and Target cards, things like that. Although today wouldn't be Target. I don't know what organization that I know you can easily buy Christmas presents for that is more inclusive than Target is these days, but whatever organization feels right for you.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you for shining a spotlight on them. Guys, the information's there on your screen. And from there, we are going to go into our next segment, Do Better Blues. So I'm going to do something different a little bit. I'm going to open up the floor for people to be able to join in on the discussion. So if you're watching at home, hop in the comments. Rev KC Taylor, we're going to have a little bit of dialogue with this. So this week, I was thinking about how in this life, we're faced with decisions, doing what feels good versus what is good for you. And there's been a couple of instances in multiple areas of my life. So one example I'm going to use, fitness. I used to be like very, very active. I used to, always make sure I was getting some movement in at least 5 days a week. But that hasn't really been feeling good to me because I'm always tired. So I've just been like lounging around a lot more. I haven't been eating as best as I want to, but that feels good for me, but it's not good for me. And I have to really police myself and adult myself sometimes and say, you're doing a little bit too much of what feels good. And yes, it feels good right now, but think about where you want to be in the long run. In this example, physically, where do you want, your body to be internally, externally? You're doing what feels good right now, but it's not good for you. And sometimes for me, it's hard to get out of that, that rhythm of doing what feels good because it's comfortable. It makes your body and your mind and your spirit feel good and relaxed. But at the same time, doing things that, that's not good. At the same time, you still have to do what's good for your body. And sometimes doing that is gonna be uncomfortable. But I don't know if it's just me, but it's hard to make that decision sometimes. Like, do you find yourself faced with that sometimes?
Absolutely. I love that you're bringing this up. What I have just done in regards, as I've mentioned, this unlimited time off kind of situation that I have going on, and be lovely. I know you got your mornings available. What I have done is invested in a monthly membership for a yoga studio. I got it on sale, and made this commitment to schedule my yoga classes well in advance. So my calendar, we were talking before we got online about how hard we hold on to our calendars. I schedule my yoga classes well in advance and I don't schedule anything over them. When somebody says, "Oh, can we do this?" and I do that, I got my yoga class, I'm prioritizing my yoga class. And the way that I have moved into I deliberately chose a yoga studio that had really easy classes because, as you talked about, that 5 days a week for me, like I can go hard for a week and then I'm done. So
Yeah.
I felt the value of scheduling the easy classes 5 days a week, and I'll choose maybe a couple days a week. I'll choose more of the challenging ones, or I will go harder. I started putting running into my calendar, and I have not ran at all this week. Last week I was on it, but it's been raining, and when it is 8 a.m. and it's cloudy and raining, I'm for sure not putting on my running shoes and getting out.
Yeah.
But I've got my yoga classes scheduled. So, I feel okay about the fact that I didn't run this week. I'm still keeping the running in my calendar. I haven't developed that habit in my body yet of doing it twice a week, but it is scheduled there, and I got it scheduled ongoing for the rest of the year. And then I schedule my monthly yoga, my my daily yoga classes 1 month at a time, and either I get to them or I don't. I schedule one, try to schedule one at least every single day, and I in reality end up doing about 3 or 4 just based off of not feeling like it or something coming up that makes it feel like I really need to
Yeah.
do this thing. But that's my trick, and it's working for me. And I'm not having fun abstaining from weed right now, but
I'm proud of
what's
you. The fact that you're able to go like 30 plus days without weed, like kudos to you. Let's give you a round of applause. Give yourself a pat on the back because that is no easy feat. Like having to get through the first couple of weeks, it's hard because I'm a weed smoker. The body craves it. For me, it's like a sense of relaxation. And then like I also do it to write. So it's like it helps with the creativity and stuff. So then
yeah.
having to find something else to do to fill that void of pleasure, it's challenging. It can be very challenging.
Yep, I'm not having fun. I'm really not.
Now, I
That's
will say,
what
like
it
for
is.
me, I was able to give up alcohol because I was doing some thinking, and I'm like, you know what? I'm doing two. I'm like, because alcohol is considered a drug. I'm like, okay, I'm smoking medicinal marijuana. I'm doing alcohol. Maybe I shouldn't be putting both of these things into my body because I see my body as a temple. And so I was like, okay, I think alcohol, since it's been proven to cause multiple different types of cancers, it can mess with your brain and all that stuff. I have no problem giving that up. But weed, on the other hand, I've tried it. I was able to go like a month without it, but then it's like sometimes it calls you back because that feeling of pleasure, of relaxation is it's hard to find something to really replace it permanently for me. I've tried
Yeah.
meditation, I tried walks.
And I've given up you haven't heard me complain about giving up alcohol at all. That was not at all difficult. The weed, and like you said, for the writing, like that's been the biggest piece of it. And I'm grateful. I've had like a good creative flow. I've got a story that I'm working on that's pretty much written itself. And part of me does wonder if having given up weed has helped that story kind of crystallize for me. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm just really letting it ride. But I do have an intention of just being more intentional about it, for it not to be something that I'm smoking all day, every day, especially because of the
Yeah.
freedom of my schedule has allowed me to do that. But taking this break, I think, is preparing me to be more intentional around it. But I'm right there with you about letting alcohol go. The calories, it does not support me and my body in the same way that weed absolutely does.
Exactly. And I feel like with my body, I feel lighter and I feel better ever since I gave up alcohol. Like alcohol, it was not hard at all. I wasn't craving it. The mocktail market is amazing in 2025. So I've had this non-alcoholic old fashioned. I did not have any high expectations. That was the best old fashioned I ever had. But I want to close up Do Better
Ooh,
Blues by saying like, huh?
tell
You
me, who
said
was
what?
it? Who made the
Oh,
old fashioned?
it
What
was
was
a
their company?
it was a restaurant that I had went to in Columbia, Maryland. I'm gonna find the information, I'm gonna send it to you. But it was the best old fashioned I ever had, and it had no alcohol in it, which I never thought was possible. But I want to
Yeah,
close up better by saying, like, you have mentioned about, being intentional with sticking with your fitness. So then you made you bought the yoga class pass, and you have your time set. I've had to be intentional about basically parenting myself, saying, Charlene, you're going to do what you have to do, even if it feels uncomfortable. Yes, you want to do what feels good, but that's not good for you. You need to do what will help you get to where you want to be in the long run, whether that's fitness wise, whether that's your financial health, whether that's your mental health or your career. Anywhere in your life, you have to go through that little bit of uncomfortableness and doing what you don't want to do, because it's good for you in the long run. So I just want to close out Do Better Blues by saying, don't try to skip out on doing what's good for you.
I hear that. I appreciate you sharing that. This being your recommendation for us to do better. And I love that we're not leading with this. It's not talking shit. We're not saying, give yourself a hard time or you should feel bad about yourself. That the intention of What's Up and Why is to bring you the brighter side of life, one fun moment at a time. And that Do Better is simply an invitation to do what's right for you and do what's best for you and do your best not to beat yourself up about it, to have grace for yourself and recognize the power of rest. That if you choose, you set this intention of doing better and you choose to sleep through your workout, give yourself grace. That is the rest that your body needed, and you can get right back at it tomorrow.
I think that was a good message to wrap things up on what we talked about. We had some good stuff going on today. I hope that you guys enjoyed it.
I agree. You ready for us to pray out?
Absolutely.
Invite us to bring our conscious attention and awareness to the breath, recognizing how sacred this breath is, that regardless of what words we like to use around prayer, what words that we associate with God or spirit, that our own individual expression is absolutely perfect. And the breath that we have in our body are what we all have in common. So I am so grateful that with this breath that we are consciously choosing to come together to live the brighter side of life, one fun moment at a time, that we can choose to lean into this day and recognize it as the absolute best day ever. And I'm grateful to trust and know that whatever needs to have been experienced and inspired for us to do better and trust ourselves and to rest and believe in who we are and what our intuition guides us to do is the right and perfect thing. And in gratitude, I invite us to close this prayer with whatever word or phrase resonates most. I choose to close by saying, and so it is.
Well, this